Hello, guys. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Left Side View with me, Amitabh, and my partner in crime, Rahul. So, this is going to be our weekly professional wrestling update. Let's start off with WWE. So, we had the Royal Rumble earlier today, and in the title scene, Roman Reigns faced off against his ex-brethren, Shield brethren, uh, Seth Rollins, and Brock Lesnar faced Bobby Lashley. Now, again, we all know that the initial plan was for Reigns and Lesnar to face off at day one pay-per-view, which did not happen due to Reigns having COVID. So since then, they have been trying to, fix up matches so that now these two face only at WrestleMania. So in course of that ultimate plan, um, now Reigns and Rollins. Rollins, I think, is most likely to be in the title scene in over at Raw. So WWE could not have both their superstars. I mean, they could not, have a concrete result in this match. So before the match, there was a lot of trash talk by Rollins that he created and destroyed Reigns. So Reigns just took out all his frustrations on Rollins in the match, and yeah, he was disqualified. He lost the match, but he's still the champion. Against Lashley with Lesnar. Lesnar actually did not has not taken Lashley seriously, at least in the storyline. So he was very confident going into the match, but somehow Reigns turns up and he crosses the match for Lesnar. Now Lashley is the champion over at Raw. Um, so what happens after this? Something that has been predicted for almost a week now. Lesnar enters the Royal Rumble at number 30 and wins it. So most likely he's going to face Reigns at WrestleMania. Uh, I mean, this was so predictable, and especially after the first match, the Roman Reigns against Rollins match, the writing was pretty much on the wall that this is how the show would, proceed and ultimately end. So yeah, I think this was a stepping stone for WrestleMania, which is kind of sad because Royal Rumble in itself is like one of the main pay-per-views. Again, short-term thinking by WWE, something that they have been known for almost a decade now. Rahul, your views on the matches that went on?
Uh, well, the match in itself, or the matches in itself, were okay, to be honest. Especially the Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley match. I think till the time the interference didn't happen, it was a good match. I think we were watching these two behemoths take on each other for the very first time. I mean, it's been like so long that we were wondering who is it that WWE have that can actually challenge someone like Brock Lesnar. And for pound for pound, the answer always came out as Bobby Lashley. There have been guys who are good, who are over, but especially when they come in front of someone like Brock Lesnar, they just don't have the same aura. I mean, even someone like AJ Styles when he took on Brock Lesnar, even someone like Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson now took on Brock Lesnar, you just knew that even though like uh, Bryan Danielson, even CM Punk, or even AJ Styles, they are considered one of the like they can probably go down as one of the best wrestlers to ever do it. Period. But in front of Brock Lesnar, it never looked credible, never looked legitimate that these guys could actually beat someone like Brock Lesnar. But at least with someone like Bobby Lashley, you don't really think that. So in a way, it's a good decision to have Bobby Lashley win this, so that eventually, like if we ever see these two have a rematch, then you can at least wonder because yeah, if that is the idea, then it makes sense. Because if Brock Lesnar had lost the first match, then obviously no one would take Bobby Lashley seriously. But now that he has won this match, if we again see a rematch, we can at least have a genuine reason or genuine excitement for that match. Uh, and like you mentioned, that obviously had Roman Reigns not had COVID at the day one pay per view, then we would have seen the match at day one pay per view. But because of the plans that changed, then Brock Lesnar was added to the Raw main event in day one pay per view, which is why now we're finally seeing the big payoff, which we're probably going to see at WrestleMania. But then, yeah, I mean, in my opinion, even if Brock Lesnar had not won the Royal Rumble match, he still would have been the number one contender. uh, I guess, to Roman Reigns. But in a way, I understand why they did it, so that now he can at least uh, challenge Roman Reigns. But again, the question is Paul Heyman, whose side is he on? One day he's on Roman Reigns' side, one day he's on Brock Lesnar's side. So my question is like, how can anyone now believe Paul Heyman? Because even if let's say now he cheats, even if he cheats Roman Reigns now, but can Brock Lesnar actually trust him? That's my question. Because when you do something so many times, it loses its touch. I guess that's my problem. It doesn't really look like with someone like Big Show, you do a million heel turns, so you stop taking something like that seriously. Other than that, again, the match between between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. First of all, the way he entered using the Shield music, it was a clever, nice touch. But again, they've been trying to, or at least in this storyline, they've tried to make Roman Reigns as the victim or as the face, someone who was cheated by Seth Rollins because he broke up the Shield. And I'm not really sure if people are ready to uh, believe that, or get in with it. Like, at least I'm not. I'm not able to relate to it that they are projecting someone like Roman Reigns as the victim. So that was my problem with the storyline. But then again, Seth Rollins can still go and say that he's got, in a way, an undefeated record against Roman Reigns, at least in one-on-one competition. Even the promo that they had on SmackDown, I think, a very good promo. Uh, they kept talking about Shield, and yeah, Seth Rollins saying that he's the one who built Roman Reigns, he's going to destroy him. Um, but let's see, or maybe my other concern with Royal Rumble was, I understand that maybe it was because of a lack of time, that already due to 6 matches, out of which 2 were Royal Rumble matches, the show went on for almost 4.5, 5 hours. But then there was no other championship, like no tag team. I mean, there was no pre-show as well. Usually you have a pre-show as well, wherein you see a couple of matches, like maybe the tag team match, or there was no intercontinental match, there was no United States Championship match. So none of that happened. In a way, it was very underwhelming, in my opinion. No, not a lot of returns either in terms of big names. We had Ronda Rousey, but other than that, in the men's Royal Rumble, Drew McIntyre returned, but again, he was the one who was there in the end with Brock Lesnar. It was a rematch of from two years ago, when it was Drew McIntyre who actually beat, or managed to beat Brock Lesnar, eliminate Brock Lesnar. Yeah. But other than that, like, there was no return in terms of like every year we see someone like, let's say, a John Cena or The Rock or a Goldberg. None of that happened, and no rumors like that either. Maybe a new signing, or maybe someone from NXT as well. I mean, maybe, but again, at the same time, I understand that they've released so many guys and girls that maybe they just don't have the personnel, to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty evident that WWE have put all their eggs in the WrestleMania basket. I mean, on paper, Lashley against Lesnar and Rollins against Reigns. These are two, absolute slobber knockers. But the problem, again, as you said, was the audience was not into it. They were not buying the storyline because everybody knows that this is a temporary phase. The ultimate idea is for Reigns and Lesnar to face off at WrestleMania. Yeah, they're trying to keep it cheeky with the Paul Heyman angle. But again, how many times does it change the side, and when does it stop, being believable? So I think WWE have dropped the ball once again. Um, Again, coming back to the WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble match itself, again, nothing to write home about. I mean, the bunny, this, I mean, I don't know Johnny Knoxville and bunny and all that. Um, I was trying to look for matches that might, be initiated through the Royal Rumble match itself. But then again, very, very disappointed with the men's Royal Rumble match. Okay, over at the women's Royal Rumble match, as you alluded, Rowdy Ronda Rousey made a comeback. So we have been hearing that she has signed a new contract. And lo and behold, she wins, eliminating Charlotte Flair, who was for some strange reason not in a title match but in the Royal Rumble. So let's see whom she chooses now, Becky or Charlotte. Maybe they'll have a triple threat match like some time ago, the main event. Um, Again, there were a lot of stars, a lot of pops that happened in this match, at least, which did not happen in the men's match. But again, I think um, that world record, that lady who's now trying to have the most world records, Hart,
Natalia.
Natalia Hart. Yeah. I mean, she was eliminated twice. Maybe that is a record for her. So again, stupid, childish stuff going on. The upcoming players, they were there till the end, but ultimately they were eliminated. Again, I think this is something again we have alluded to. They are taken from the whole storyline on a weekly basis, something that should not be done. And again, as I said, putting all their eggs in the WrestleMania basket. Royal Rumble deserves better. We as audience deserve better. So, pretty underwhelming, quite frankly. Your views on the women's Royal Rumble match now?
I mean, yeah, I'm at least happy that at least Ronda Rousey is back. But yeah, not a lot of like nothing much to write about it either. It was better than obviously the men's Royal Rumble match. Sasha Banks came back. I mean, obviously, I think she came back on SmackDown. So at least they've got some legitimate contenders in the women's division. Not really sure if we can say the same thing about the men's heavyweight division. Other than that, obviously, maybe I'm going back to the men's Royal Rumble match, but they've made a joke out of someone like Sami Zayn. I mean, seriously, they've made a joke out of him. He's competing in against someone like Johnny Knoxville, and I mean, oh man, yeah. But let's stick to the women's Royal Rumble match. I mean, all these divas from all the times like Data, the Bella Twins, and so many. I mean, you just know that they're not gonna win. They're just there for the pop. Uh, in a way, it is like the same old 3-4 wrestlers that WWE relies on. One of which is Charlotte, the other is Sasha Banks, and now even Ronda Rousey. We're probably going to see the same matches that we've seen before. I mean, yeah. Anything else that you want to talk about? Raw, SmackDown?
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, um, I won't even say now they have flattered to deceive. They are just deceiving us. So over at AEW, again, one storyline that I have been following quite intently, CM Punk against MGF. Um, so a couple of weeks ago, CM Punk faced Warlow, and there were 8 power bombs and stuff like that. Then he faced the chairman, Sean Spears. Again, that was a quick win for CM Punk. Now this week, MJF and Punk faced off in Cleveland, Ohio, and again, after a little bit of to and fro, MJF referring to the fact that maybe if Punk loses, then he'll moan and cry about it. Maybe he'll quit wrestling again. Again, reference to the past while he was at WWE. And yeah, and as usual, the face of this storyline, Punk, he wanted a match right then and there. So it was announced by MJF that they would be facing off next week in Chicago, Illinois, Punk's hometown. Um, After that, his whole crew came up, Dash Wilder and
Pinnacle.
again Warlow. Yeah, and then they gave Punk a good old beating. Um, let's see what happens next week when these two face off. At least they have held the storyline well. I mean, it was so easy to have them have a match right away, but they have built it up properly. Let's see what the next phase of the storyline is, how they take it forward, because I don't think it will be over in just one match. Um, yeah, your views here, Ram?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even I don't think that it's going to be one match and done. I think, especially because it's a match in CM Punk's hometown, I think he's going to win this match and then this feud will extend. At the same time, I think we're probably going to see someone like Wardlow maybe, uh, leave Pinnacle. There are seeds of dissension wherein he's fed up of, being bossed around by someone like MJF. Even a couple of weeks ago when he lost to CM Punk, it was in a way his biggest match as well, the biggest match of his career, and he was on the verge of beating CM Punk clean, but because of MJF, he couldn't do it. And even now, every time like MJF is bossing him around, and then when MJF isn't bossing him around, then someone like Sean Spears comes in. So yeah, I think I don't really see this feud ending next week. Uh, I think we can probably talk about another storyline from AEW, which is now, like we talked about, the dissension between Wardlow and NJF. Another being dissension between Inner Circle, Chris Jericho and Proud and Powerful, or Chris Jericho and Santana and Ortiz. So a couple of weeks ago, we saw Eddie Kingston talking to Chris Jericho and telling his friends Santana and Ortiz that they are still not the AEW Tag Team Champions because Chris Jericho has held them down. And Chris Jericho defended himself that that's not the case, but then maybe there is some truth to it, which is what Santana Notice alluded to, that maybe Eddie Kingston is right, which is why we saw a 6-man tag team match between Chris Jericho, Santana Notice versus 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. Now, the best part or the thing to notice is that uh, Inner Circle won this match, but that's not the talking point. Talking point is that Santana Ortiz did not even tag Chris Jericho once. And Chris Jericho, in a way, left that match. He was like, if nobody's going to tag me, then why should I even be here? So that's what happened. So obviously, that's another interesting storyline because I think we probably would have seen more of the storyline. Uh, but then Eddie Kingston got injured. So that's the reason why he wasn't here. So he's probably going to be back in a couple of weeks. So yeah, till the time he's back, we're going to see the storyline continue. And I think eventually this is leading to a match between Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho, in my opinion. But let's see.
Yeah, most definitely. I think that is the plan, and maybe they'll have the tag division also. Uh, Pride and Proud and Powerful. Maybe they'll enter that fray. So, okay. So the next storyline that we would like to discuss is the Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy the one that has been going on for a few weeks now, especially with the female wrestlers also been involved, Britt Baker and I don't recall the name for.
Krista Tanda.
Yeah. So updates there, Rahul?
Well, yeah, this was an unsanctioned match between the two, and lo and behold, Orange Cassidy won. Maybe it's a good thing because since this was an unsanctioned match, so Adam Cole's record is still intact because the loss doesn't really count. Uh, so it's a good thing in a way in terms of booking. Other than that, yeah, not a lot of distractions. I mean, I kind of expected more. So yeah, maybe basis my expectations, we didn't really have enough distractions in a match wherein it's a no disqualification match. Uh, Another thing to notice was Ring of Honor's release wrestler Danhausen. He appeared, and since then we've seen promos of him being all elite. So yeah, we're probably going to see more of him as well. Uh, Anything else that you want to talk about in terms of AEW?
I think we've covered everything there. What about the independent circuits or Ring of Honor, New Japan? Any updates there?
Nothing much. In fact, even in NXT, didn't really see much happening. To be honest, I mean, like I said, we can probably talk about Royal Rumble. That we didn't really see much. Like not a lot of guys from NXT either. So yeah, that's another reason why there's just not much to talk about. I think they had their moment a couple of weeks ago when AJ Styles appeared on NXT and took on Grayson Water, but nothing since then.
Yeah, okay. So one last thing that I would like to, discuss is I don't know if you've read it or you have that update, but I've heard that McMahon is looking to sell WWE. Is that just a rumor or something that he's at? I mean, I don't know. What have you read about this subject basically?
I have read that, yes, but at the same time, I think Nick Khan said something about there have been some negotiations, I guess, or maybe some talks, but I I honestly don't see it happening. To be honest, I just don't see it happening. I think we read that Vince McMahon's mother passed away. She was 101 years old, but Vince McMahon, I think he's just gonna keep going. At the same time, I've also read that Triple H is not in line to return anytime soon since his health scare 4 5 months ago. So I think it's probably Shawn Michaels who's leading NXT right now. Even they've gotten rid of all those guys who were closely associated with Triple H, so someone like Samoa Joe and all the other guys. So it's in a way now Nick Khan who is become the heir apparent in a way to Vince McMahon. But I mean, is it good? Maybe it is something that is good for business. That if they actually, you know, hand over the torch to someone else, like we've seen someone like Tony Khan doing great with AEW, maybe they need some fresh blood. But at the same time, do I see it happening? Do I see it happening anytime soon? I don't.
Okay, point taken. I think with that, we come to the end of this podcast. I mean, I don't remember when the last time a Royal Rumble week was such a subdued week. So, yeah, that is the state of professional wrestling right now. Thank you so much, guys, for watching our podcast. We'll be back with another episode next Sunday. Bye bye and take care.
All right, guys.